Corey existing. How's everybody doing? Patrick, how you guys doing? All right. Well, we're just getting this thing started. Let's get this thing moving and going forward. How's everybody doing today? I'm hoping this is one of 2 lives I do today. That's the game plan. We'll see how my mental sanity holds up today. But we're going to do our best to do 2 lives today. Let's see what happens. We will see. We're going to try to do one now and one in a few hours. Few hours? Yeah. Really, the entire idea is I want to do it live now. I was gonna shut down at 2, but I'm late, so shut down probably around like 2:30. Then I'll be back on at like 5, and then I'll go to like 7. That's the game plan. That's the game plan. We'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes. If you guys do me a favor, as you guys are coming in, if you're on the TikTok side, go ahead and double tap that screen. If you're on the YouTube side, if you guys go up, hit that like button on top. I really appreciate that. Those are how we get the conversation moving, how we get the conversations going, how we get to have some fun up in here, Y'all are going to make me lose my mind up in here. Pacers are OKC tonight. Pacers all the way, baby. Let's go. Pacers all the way, baby. Let's go. Pacers all the way. I'm literally shutting down this live night to make sure I can watch. Yeah, I was gonna come on last night. I know everybody and their mom was like, "Oh my goodness, everything that happened last night, with Iran." I'm gonna go jump online all at the same time, and everybody's just there to make a bunch of snap judgments, right? Everybody's there to just right. And I chose to be calm for a second, right? Well, I wasn't calm. I won't say I was calm. I was taking in all the information. I feel that sometimes it's really important to do that, right? It's important to take in all the information and kind of let your brain focus and then sleep on it. I got a nice lunch today, and now I'm ready to talk about stuff. So now I'm more ready to talk about stuff. Let's not go crazy. Oh, Aaron. First of all, as you guys are filling up YouTube, let me be very clear. If you guys like support, I do have super chats available and all that fun stuff. We will. But I want to put this up for Aaron. Aaron says, hey, look, a passive-aggressive leftist. I'm not passive-aggressive. I'm just aggressive. Just thought I'd let you know. I heard crying about it helps. I'm not passive. I don't have a passive bone in my body. Tight Wiggle says, do you have a regular streaming schedule? I did. It's kind of off right now. Because I've been doing some stuff, like work schedules have been changing. So my schedule's a little off right now. And I'm trying to find my new rhythm. But it should be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, starting around 7:30 p.m. Central. And then Saturdays and Sundays have always kind of been like I kind of play it by ear. Saturdays I'm usually on. I try to go on around 3. And then Sundays I try to go on a little earlier, around noon. And then today I'm going to try to do 2 lives. Like I said, I'm going to do one now. It's like 12:45. It's almost 1 o'clock here. So I'm going to try to do one now. Go for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Shut down. Go take a break. Have some food. Chill out. Back on around 5 o'clock. So that's the idea for today. So hopefully my schedule stays, pretty standard and we can continue that thing on. All right, again, y'all, if you guys are on the TikTok side, let's get this up to 15,000 likes. I really appreciate that. If you're on the YouTube side, go up to the top and hit that like button for me. I really appreciate that. we are going to soon, very, very soon, open up these phone lines so we can have some conversations, some debates, some banter, all of that fun stuff, whatever type of conversations that you guys would like. And we are going to talk about why you support Trump. Should be a really fun one today. Should be a really fun one today. I would love to. I just can't wait to hear people talking about it today. Should be great. Someone asked, did I go to church? I did. I just consider church this little pho restaurant that I enjoy going to. And I had some great vermicelli. It was very, very good. Some excellent vermicelli. All right. So if you support Trump, there's two ways that you can come up and talk to me. One, if you're on the TikTok side, you can hit that multi-guest request button. And then you can come up that way. If you're on the YouTube side, what you can do is call in on the number above my head. And then you'll come and the phone will ring and I'll like click on it. And then you'll come up and you'll talk to me. You'll come up and talk to me. So you're also a vermicelli fan, of course, as everyone should be. As everyone should be. All right. All right. I think it's about that time. Has anyone debated you on the situation with Iran? Not yet. I am assuming that will happen very, very soon. I would be surprised if I last the next 30 minutes on this live without having some pretty good conversations about the Iran situation. So, yeah, I will be very, very, very surprised. All right, I am now opening up the phone lines. I'm going to check my multi-guest. We're going to do all that sort of stuff. See what we got going on. Actually, let's pull someone from here first. Let's start here.
What's up?
Hi, how old are you?
62.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Hell yeah!
Why is that?
Because he just took out the nuclear possibilities in the world's largest tea group. Boom.
Well, that's not true, though.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. First of all, first assessments are showing that the attacks were mostly superficial. Most of this stuff had been evacuated from there because that's what happens when you tell Iran that you're going to, hit their stuff, right? And on top of that, the undersecretary of the Ministry of the Ministry of Security Council of Russia has already stated there's a possibility they're actually going to give them nuclear warheads now.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
That's comical.
All right. Do you actually have a rebut to what I said, or are you just gonna just yell ad homs?
We have the most powerful military in the United States, and we have one of the best intelligence agencies in the United States, and they said that the threat of nuclear possibilities from Iran is zero.
Yeah, that same intelligence apparatus just said a few months ago that Iran was not trying to build a nuclear warhead.
That's not true. You're
Gotcha.
talking about
Gotcha. Sir, I was in the middle of a sentence. Did I cut you off?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So that exact same intelligence network that you're claiming is saying it's destroyed already said that they didn't have one, nor were they trying to build one. Okay. And I will agree that we do have the best military in the United States. I believe you meant in the world, but that's fine. We have the best in the United States and in the world, 100%. Okay. But none of that changes the fact that we don't even know a full damage assessment of what happened in Iran, right? We have Trump calling it successful. We have the Iranians and the Israelis saying that it was, that it was more superficial than it was anything else. And we have multiple intelligence agencies, not just including our own, saying that Iran was nowhere near the possibility of building a nuclear weapon. So until we actually have a bunch of information on exactly what happened and how much damage was actually done, it does seem like this did more harm than good.
The Israelis did not say it was superficial.
Yes, they did.
Go ahead, read me the quote.
Read you the quote, sir. Sir, I'm not. Sir, I'm not doing this hollering thing with you. Okay.
I know. Read me the quote.
Yeah. The U.S. has not said that there was a destruction of a full destruction of these nuclear facilities. The U.S. hasn't even said that.
Okay.
They just said the mission was successful.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you have
Yeah.
a
Right.
quote that says otherwise.
Yeah. You
Oh,
could
okay.
watch any of
Well,
the
then
press
read me
conferences.
the quote. Read me
Yeah.
the
No.
quote.
No.
Read me
It's
the
easy.
quote.
It's easy. Just go on Trump's press conference at 10 p.m.
I watched it live.
Listen to what
Yeah.
everyone's saying today.
Listen to what
Okay.
everyone is saying today. I am listening to what everyone is saying today.
And everyone from Trump all the way through is saying that it was a
All the way
successful
through what?
mission, taking out the nuclear threat.
Yes, sir. And again, if you go all the way through them, some of them are saying there was never a nuclear threat. So
Oh,
how are
now
we,
we're pivoting.
sir, are you going to
Now
tell
we're
me that we
pivoting.
took out a threat that wasn't there? Is that your big win here?
What do you mean that wasn't there?
Again, you're claiming that we have the best intelligence on the planet. Okay? That's what
Yeah,
you're saying. And that
yeah.
exact intelligence apparatus said that there was not a threat of nuclear weapons in Iran. That's what they said. Okay? So either
You,
they were wrong then, okay, and there
Polly.
actually was a threat, all right, which in that case maybe we don't have the, best intelligence apparatus on the planet if they can't get it right. Okay? Or second of all, we just bombed Iran with when they didn't have anything to begin with.
No,
So
no,
which
no.
one is it, sir?
You're
And since our intelligence is so good.
so you are referring to Tulsi Gabbard's statement that she didn't think that there was a nuclear threat. 3 days ago, she said there was. Okay, so things change, as
Hold
you
on.
know.
She said that there wasn't. She's consistently said that there wasn't. Then Donald Trump said there was, and Donald Trump said they asked Donald Trump, "What do you think about what Tulsi Gabbard said about there being no nuclear threat?" And he says she's wrong. And then all of a sudden, the next day, she changed her mind. Right. So do you like? Let me. So without Donald Trump's influence, so without any influence from Donald Trump, I'm sorry, you're on. You must have got that new Trump cell phone. Okay, you're breaking up. Without any influence from Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard said that there was no threat. Then, as soon as Trump says it, now all of a sudden there is a threat.
Okay.
And you don't find that strange?
Okay. Trump's.
Sir, again, the Trump cell phone is not going to work for you, man. There's no reception, all right? That's what you get when you're on Boost Mobile towers. All right, sir. Well, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I can't hear a word that you're saying because your reception is so bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next person because I literally can't hear you. Okay. I truly can't hear you. But I hope you enjoyed Trump's cell phone network. All right. We're about to keep this thing going, keep moving forward, bring up a next guest. Hopefully the next one at least has enough reception to be able to, finish a conversation with me. But if you don't find it at least a little bit strange that Tulsi Gabbard and the intelligence agency consistently said there was no threat, and then all of a sudden when Trump said it, then all of a sudden there was a threat, then I think that's a little weird. Alice, thank you so much for the subscription over there on TikTok. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to open up these phone lines, keep this thing going. Thank you guys all for the little gifts over on TikTok too. I appreciate it. Again, if you also would like support, I do have super chats open on YouTube also. And little gift goals and stuff on TikTok. So I appreciate that. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing well. So do you support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Awesome. Why do you support Trump?
Well, I guess he's doing some good things for America,
Like World War III?
Well, I mean, you support the Ukraine war, don't you?
Do I support the war? No, I support Ukraine. I don't support the Ukraine war.
What's that mean? You agree that?
Well, Ukraine didn't start the war. Ukraine was invaded, and I believe that Ukraine has the right to their own sovereignty and that their own.
Ukraine definitely.
Sir, do you want to know my answer, or do you want to just speak?
Well, you said Ukraine didn't start the war. They definitely did.
Sir, so Ukraine invaded Russia?
If I'm pointing a gun at your house, threatening
sir,
to pull the
yes or
trigger,
no? Who invaded who? Sir, who invaded who? Sir, who invaded
Ukraine
who?
did.
Ukraine invaded Russia.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, why don't
Do
you
you
be
know how
quiet and let me
Zelensky?
answer?
Do you know
Since
how
obviously,
Zelensky came?
sir,
Do you know how
sir, I
Zelensky
will
came to
hang up on
power?
you like so fast. I do not
So
need
you
you
don't
here,
know.
nor do I care. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you think you're just gonna
Hmm.
come up here and overtalk me, then this you won't last here long at all.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. So, yes, what I was trying to say was I don't support the
Hmm.
Ukrainian war. I don't think anybody supports war unless you're, I don't know, maybe Trump in this case. All right. But no, I do support Ukraine's ability to defend themselves. And I
You
support,
don't.
us freaking holding up our end of the deal when it comes to alliances. And I think it's important to stand up to things like, authoritarians and, rogue world leaders like Putin also.
You don't think Iran is authoritarian when they cheered death to America?
I don't have any love lost for Iran. I believe if they have a nuclear weapon system, we should not let them have it. I don't believe that we've had one. They've had one, and
No,
I
no.
don't believe that we
They
should.
cheered death to
And
America.
yeah, okay. So does half the world, and I'm pretty sure most of our allies, if we didn't keep
No,
giving them
half the
stuff.
world
Okay,
doesn't cheer it. Pretty much just Iran.
sir,
I
are
don't think
you
you
here
can
to have
show
a
me videos.
conversation, or are you just here to yap?
I'm here to have a conversation. Are you here to just spout lies, or
All
you
right.
you
Well,
don't want
sir, I
people
hope you have a
correcting you?
wonderful day. Okay.
You don't want people correcting you?
No, I'm just already tired of you, and I want to talk to an adult. And unless you're going to start
I am
acting
an
like
adult.
one,
I'm
well,
trying.
no, I'm asking you to start acting
You're
like
talking
one.
like a child. You're
All right.
acting like a child.
Well,
I'm
this is
talking
your
to you like an
last
adult.
chance. If you start to do this again, then I'll just hang up on you and we'll move on to the next caller. It's not a big deal to me, sir.
If I start what again? I'm sorry.
Acting like a child. Okay.
How am I acting like a child?
Sir, we're not going to get into, I'm not going to teach you what your parents should have. Okay.
Are you used to making claims and no?
All right. Anyways, we'll just move on to the next caller. I really appreciate that. I am not here to do what your parents should have. Okay. Maybe if your parents had, believed in punishing you, then you wouldn't have grown up to act like a petulant child. But anyways, what I was trying to say is obviously, Ukraine was invaded, and I believe that they have the right to defend themselves with that when being invaded. All right. Hello. How are you today? Hello. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How old are you?
45.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm super confused. That's honestly the reason for my call today. I'm like, I voted for him, but it seems like every day. I don't know how anybody can come to any solid conclusions on any of these issues.
You can easily come to the conclusions where you start is with facts and then you move from there. It's not very difficult.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand, but I don't know. I mean, I think that I'm against the recent strike on Iran for sure.
Well, yeah, you
Maybe we
should
can
be.
start
We all
there.
should be. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
But
we were this
again,
close
it's
to
like,
we were this close to an actual deal to denuclearize Iran, and now we've escalated the situation, and now they're involving Russia in it, and pretty much every news agency is reporting that they're meeting with Russia, and Russia's already came out talking about how there's a consideration to give them nuclear weaponry. So
yeah, and also
this did not help any of
China
that.
too apparently is involved as well. Like apparently there were reports that there were some cargo ships entering Iran for Chinese planes entering Iran as well. I honestly don't think that there's any way that we get out of this without entering a long-term war.
Well, not
Do you agree
anymore.
with that, or right?
I mean, we did have that option. We completely had that option before yesterday. We completely had the option to get out of this with not only not a long-term war, but not even a short-term war. Like we could have gotten out of this scot-free. We could have easily rectified this situation and moved forward with our lives. But now, I think at the lowest point, the Strait of Hormuz is shut down. And at the highest point, I believe there's a possibility that one of our military bases is at least attacked. So, and if it's not one of our military bases, it might be here on the homeland. So, yeah,
I don't
there's lots of
disagree with
reasons.
that at all. Maybe there's something that we can, because I know, like, for the most part, people like, adversarial comments. Maybe there's something that we don't exactly agree with. So, why do you think? What do you think is the motivation behind So obviously Tulsi Gabbard comes out and she says that, you know, she agrees with the international coalitions that they didn't have a bomb, right? And I tend to agree with that, with the information that I have, which is, I'm sure, the same as everybody else. But what do you think that there's a possibility that Trump had information that Tulsi Gabbard did?
Yeah, no. See, Trump gets his information from Tulsi Gabbard. That's her job. Yeah.
Right, I
So
understand.
unless
She
Donald
has
Trump
weekly
has
briefs
a,
or
you know,
bi-weekly briefs.
unless Donald Trump
Right.
has an
So,
intelligence apparatus that's outside of the U.S.
well, okay, yeah, exactly. So let's go down that road, right? So let's say,
That was a joke, sir. He
clearly
doesn't.
Netanyahu's been calling for this for 30 years, right? We all know that. It
Yeah.
seems like it seems like he's been begging for this one.
Right.
So that's the direction that you think this went in. So Trump meets with let's say Marco Rubio and Hegseth with Netanyahu. He convinces them that somehow he has information that our CIA doesn't, and that's why we move on those targets. Or do you think it's something?
No, I think that Netanyahu saw that Iran is weak right now, and so he didn't really care whether they had nuclear weapons. That was just a great excuse for him to launch an attack against Iran, and then Donald Trump was stupid enough to get drug into it. I think it was literally that simple. I think that Israel very much knows that Iran was not anywhere close to that. They just don't like the fact that Iran is funding, proxy groups that are attacking, Israel all the time, and that they're very, anti-Israel in that region. And so they took that opportunity to, shoot at Iran while they were weak, and when knowing that Russia is semi-depleted and can't come to their aid right now.
And then, to my understanding as well, there's also a huge difference between uranium and plutonium, right? So the uranium bombs, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, the uranium bombs are much larger and much basically you need intercontinental ballistic. The apparatus to deploy that weapon is much more significant than it would be for plutonium, and they don't have plutonium. They only had what they were enriching was the uranium, which obviously, even if they enrich the uranium to the point that they could make the bomb, they still have to manufacture the delivery system as well. Is that
yeah? Well, I mean, all of them have, all of them require, regardless of whether it's a plutonium or uranium bomb, they all have delivery systems, and I don't think that there's much of hiding that Iran has ICBM technology, right? I mean, they've shot ICBMs in Jerusalem, so I mean, if they don't, it wouldn't be a far stretch at all to try to alter one of their current ICBM technology to have nuclear delivery capabilities, right? That wouldn't be difficult at all, right? But the fact of the matter is if they had, here's I think I'm gonna make this really easy. Okay. If Israel really had proof that Iran had nuclear weapons, right? If they really truly had proof, it would be everywhere right now. You wouldn't be, they would be so happy to show. It would be odd. It would be the first thing where you freaking turned on Fox News this morning. You would have seen all the proof. Hey, we have aerial photos. Literally, we just literally, they're on TV showing us the entire war plan, right? This is exactly how we executed this mission. But there's not one picture to just go hey, see right here?
Yeah, understood.
It's right here.
Honestly, I'm so annoyed that I just can't believe, because at this point it's either he's either so evil or so dumb. I'm having a really hard time wrapping my head around it. Either of those, I just don't know what is going on. Number one, it seems like weapons of mass destruction all over again. Are we really getting dog walked into another conflict again? What is going on?
Well, I mean,
even with Tulsi, what is going on? How does she was adversarial to these positions her entire life, and then what is going on, dude?
Because
what goes
Trump
on
has
once
that.
they get into these positions?
Trump has this hold on the Republican Party and anybody that works for him. Like either you agree and you step in line, or you're out. He doesn't have any room for being wrong,
Yeah, but
right?
you could say the same. You could say the same thing for, say, Dick Cheney or George Bush. Like, regardless, we've been literally getting dog walked into these things for decades, and probably before that. But I'm just talking about for my life, or since I've been paying attention. What could possibly be? I cannot wrap my head around it, man.
It's really not that hard to wrap your head around it because you see it with Trump in every.
For me, it is. I mean,
hold on,
maybe
sir.
I'm dumb,
Hold on, sir.
whatever.
Hold
Yeah.
on, sir. Let me finish my statement here, okay? The reason why it's not difficult is because it's the exact same thing that happens with Donald Trump in every single foreign relations like aspect, right? If it's a trade deal, right? It doesn't matter whether that trade deal is good for the United States or bad for the United States, right? He just cares that he got a win, right? That he can go in front of people and say, I won this, I won that, or whatever, right? And like you saw, like you could literally see like his rhetoric change when Israel attacked Iran. You know what I'm saying? At first he was like, "Oh, I'm not really sure," and then you turn on Fox News and you hear Fox News going, "Oh my goodness, that was amazing. There was such a great military strike." And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump comes out that same day and he's like, "Oh yes, I knew about it. Like I was a part of that. Like I get a win for this too, right? I need a win. I get a win. I get a win." It has nothing to do with whether we get drug into another war, whether we, if people are dying or if there's troops dying or any of that, right? It's all about Donald Trump saying, "I won this or I won that or I get to this or I get to that," right? And so that's what's going on right now, and this is why. Not only you saw his press conference last night, and I'm sure that you watched it, right?
I did.
And
I
honestly,
did, yeah.
and honestly, for Donald Trump, that was about as professional as it gets, right? But why is this morning? Why do we have Pete Hegseth talking about it? Why do we have like all these generals coming up and giving war plans? It's because Trump wants everyone to know, like, I did this, I did that, and it was successful. It's all about getting wins, regardless
fair
of the
enough.
thought
But
process behind it.
Well, here's maybe something we can disagree on. I feel the same thing happened in Ukraine as well. I feel like we got dog walked there into that too. I mean, let's be honest. Boris Johnson went there. We had a peace treaty. We had a peace deal on the table. And I don't think it's super unreasonable for Putin to take a stand that Ukraine cannot be in NATO and NATO's forces could not move an inch closer to his country. I don't think that's unreasonable.
It is.
And I feel we got drug into that one as well.
It is unreasonable.
Why would that be?
Because there's already 5 different countries that are on Russia's border. Because Ukraine joining NATO doesn't make NATO any closer to Russia. They were already there. I mean, just a few years ago, we saw Finland join NATO. Finland's on Russia's border. Why did he not attack Finland if they were getting closer?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Finland. What I do know is that obviously NATO was created as a defense to Russia, and his line in the sand was that NATO can't take any. I'll put it this way: regardless of what countries were around there, they did have a peace deal on the table. Boris Johnson and went over there and struck it dead. So I feel like it's the same thing. Sure. Again, we're in a conflict that we're in a proxy war.
But sir, there's a difference between being like, people say proxy war as if I'm supposed to be like upset when I hear proxy war. Okay. Proxy war isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes proxy wars can be a good thing. Okay. What the Ukrainian proxy war was doing was it was allowing. Hold on, sir. What our proxy war with Ukraine was allowing us to do was it was allowing us to help protect our NATO allies, right? Help protect our interests in the regions, right? It helped us to, be fall in line with the Budapest Memorandum and the other, agreements that we had with Ukraine. And they allowed us to do all of that from a US budget standpoint for a very small amount of money without putting a single American in harm's way. Right? So it allowed us to do all the things that we were doing without putting Americans in harm's way, right? Right now, we're putting Americans in harm's way.
I don't disagree with that at all. But also, I don't. You said that to protect our allies. I mean, maybe our allies' military forces, but I think you could also make the claim that by entering into Ukraine and Nord Stream 2 getting destroyed, you could say that the civilian populations of Europe were severely hurt by that because of their energy prices were spiked.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you not agree with that?
but there was lots of different things. But like even with the Nord Stream being taken out and stuff like that, the war between Ukraine and Russia that pretty much shut off a large portion of the oil going to the European continent anyway. So yes, it was a shut off of that certain amount of oil and that was going through there, but there was already negative repercussions that were coming due to the war between Ukraine and Russia. But yes, the Nord Stream pipeline is a thing, and I know that's something that people like to bring up a lot, but it's not like the whole thing. There was never an agreement made that NATO wouldn't expand eastward. It never happened. All right. And there was already a bunch of countries there. So
right,
Russia wasn't doing anything.
Though, agreement or not, do you think it's unreasonable for Putin to not make that proclamation that if NATO did move closer to the border, then it was going to be a problem?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, he can make that proclamation. Yeah. Anytime you're invading a sovereign country, that's unreasonable. Like if he just wants to make that, if he wants to just make that claim,
not the invasion. It's not the invasion itself, but saying that getting close. For example, the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? But same thing. That's the exact same scenario, right? You cannot put you can't put these weapons close enough to strike us, or it's going to be a problem. Correct?
Yeah, but the problem is, sir, is the only reason those weapons aren't already close enough to strike him is because of the deal we made with Ukraine. Like, if it wasn't for the Budapest Memorandum and us denuclearizing Ukraine and having an agreement that if Ukraine denuclearized, that we weren't that we would help protect them, then nuclear weapons would already be on the border of Russia in Ukraine. Like the whole reason why we're supporting them are one of the largest reasons.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't think it's that simple either. Because I'm not completely through it, but the Scott Horton's book lays out a pretty good argument that. I don't know. It's hard for me to make a point that Putin was acting in defense when he clearly invaded the country first, but he was without a doubt provoked, which is the name of the book, by the way. Like they were. That was the end goal. That was the end goal. Was to have Putin enter Ukraine. Period.
That was whose end goal?
NATO, to state broadly.
No, NATO wouldn't want that. That wouldn't be a good end goal. Why would they want an end goal? Something that's not helpful to them.
What?
NATO, Russia invading Ukraine is a negative for NATO, not a positive. So why would the end goal for NATO be?
Because
for the invasion of Ukraine,
because it weakens Russia's military.
That's more of a benefit for us.
That's more of a benefit for NATO. Yeah, us, NATO, the whole coalition.
Sir,
that's a benefit for the whole coalition.
Sir, the entire Russian military can't take over Ukraine right now. I don't think we were too worried about Russia's military.
Of course, what do you mean? Of course, weakening their military. That's the exact same reasoning that they're using for this.
Okay, well let's pretend let's pretend that's the case.
Iran's military.
Let's pretend that's the case. Then why were we trying to end it?
And what?
The war. If the end goal is to completely
Ukraine right now?
if we're totally trying to deplete Russia's military, then why are we trying to end the war? Why don't we just keep depleting it until it's non-existent?
Trying to end it?
I mean, Trump has been consistently saying he's trying to end it. NATO has been saying they've been trying to end it. Multiple European countries, Macron, multiple different, Starmer, all of them are all saying they're trying to end it. If the entire goal was the depletion
in rhetoric, but we just gave them more money. So yeah, of course.
Because not giving them money. Hold on, but not giving them money doesn't end the war. Not giving them money doesn't end the war. It just makes more civilians die.
No, it prolongs. But giving the money prolongs the war.
No, it doesn't. It just saves the lives of civilians. We stopped giving Ukraine. We stopped giving Ukraine money. Did the war escalate or de-escalate?
Who stopped giving Ukraine money?
When Trump came in, he cut off Ukraine's funding until the mineral deal was signed. So there was a small part of time when we stopped funding Ukraine. Did the war escalate?
Oh, wait. So you think they ran out? So you think they ran out of money? So you don't think? So when he left the White House, when they had that conflict in the White House, and the following day he met with European leaders, and they were smiling like it was a high school graduation and taking photos. You think that funding got all the way cut off?
I didn't say it got all the way cut off, sir. It got drastically reduced. Okay, and therefore, sir, can I finish a sentence? Are you okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, it was drastically reducing the amount of arms that were in Ukraine, stopping them from having the full ability to defend themselves at the level that they were. We didn't get closer to ending the war. Russia started sending missiles into Kiev, taking out civilian power plants, literally killing civilians at every stance that he got, the second that there was even a reduction in the amount of money that was going to Ukraine. What makes you think if that money went completely away, that somehow like the war was going to end and just it wouldn't be Russia just stomping through Ukraine?
Exactly. I think you're making my point for me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, because you just said that the money dried up, that we didn't fund it. You said that there was a small period of time where we backed off and weren't funding them. So if we stopped off and weren't funding them, then they would have got stomped out, just like you said, and they would have walked right into Ukraine.
Sir,
that proves my point exactly.
Is that more war or less war? If Russia is going through mowing down civilians, is that more?
Money equals war.
Sir. You're so close.
I'm here.
You're so close.
You're right. I am.
You're so close. If the money stops and Russia starts mowing down civilians, is that more war or less war?
That's more war.
Okay, so therefore, us stopping funding from Ukraine equals more war.
I could argue that when the money stopping would be more war in the interim and less war overall. I can make that the point very easily.
And I could easily make the war that once Ukraine gets closer to NATO's borders, that literally one stray missile makes us end up in World War III because now they're at the border of Poland shooting.
I don't disagree. I think exactly, and
so
I think the war machine would go. Well, I think the second he would have taken Ukraine, if he hasn't already, the Fox News and everybody else would have been propagandizing Poland in order to, and we would have been funding Poland to stop it.
Poland's part of NATO. We
again,
be
back
funding
to the initial
Poland.
point.
We wouldn't be funding Poland.
Sir,
we wouldn't be funding Poland. Poland's part of NATO. We'd be fighting Russia.
Okay, fine. But the money would be redirected from Ukraine into Poland.
No, U.S. troops would be on planes and boats on their way to Poland. And when you're not talking about a redirection of money, the literal amount of cash.
Okay, worst scenario. Just like you said, if you cut the money off and they went into Ukraine, U.S. troops would be on their way to Poland again.
Sir, you do realize it was 3 to 5% of our defense budget that we spent literally to Ukraine. Literally for the cost we're spending in Ukraine, we couldn't even get our troops in fucking place to fight Russia. We're talking 10, 20 times the amount of fucking money.
What point are you defending?
By stopping the money for Ukraine, we now have to spend more money on our soldiers.
Okay. So let's walk that logic down the line, right?
Already walked it down the line, sir. I already did that.
Okay. So that you're right. So again, what the fuck is going? Oh, sorry, my language. What is going on? Again, my original question still stands. What is going on?
Here,
and don't tell me it's Donald Trump, because that's not true. Because we just took 10 minutes talking about a war with Ukraine that started originally under Barack Obama and then subsequently under Biden, and it doesn't matter what side to me. This isn't a left or right or anything. I think it's all disgusting. Why?
Sir, well, let's start with the fact that Obama didn't let Ukraine and Russia happen, nor did he cause Ukraine and Russia to happen. He just happened to be present when it happened. Okay, and that's the same that can be said about Israel and Palestine, right? Someone happened to be present when it happened. Okay, doesn't mean that they caused it. And guess what? I'll even give
I'm
that.
not saying I'm not saying he caused it, but the coup
Hold on, sir.
happened.
And
on,
I would
while
I
he was
would have
president.
even been able to give Donald Trump that same pass, right? I could have easily said that if Israel just attacked Iran, it's not the job of Donald Trump to stop it. That is just things that happen in the world. Okay, and it's not necessarily their job to stop it. But now U.S. direct
Now
involvement
you walked
is
yourself into
on
a
Donald
corner
Trump.
again.
Now
You walked yourself into a corner again.
I did not
Yeah,
walk
you walked
myself
yourself
into a corner, sir. This is Donald
because
Trump's fault.
that's the same case you can make for Ukraine. So again, it doesn't matter which side it's on. My question to you, the
So
guy with
what
the
corner
show,
did I walk myself into? I'm sorry. Did we have direct military intervention where we were bombing Russia for Ukraine?
we had direct intervention in the coup, that's for sure.
Did we bomb Russia?
No, I don't know.
Did
No,
we
didn't
bomb Palestine?
No, we
Did
didn't.
we bomb Iran?
Yes.
What's the difference between
Right.
those?
Look, here's why I'm saying they're similar, right? Because without our intervention, without either our money, our weapons, or our support, mostly satellite technology is Ukraine. That's the only reason that they're still going right now, is from our intervention. The same could be said now. Again, it is from U.S. fighter jets, but the same could be said for Iran, right? Israel did not have the weaponry to take out those nuclear facilities. Okay, fine. Whether or not they had the bomb, that's besides the point now for this argument. It's the same. It's their equivalents, right? Without something that we had, they could not win that
Sir,
conflict.
do you see how hard you were
So
having
that's the
to
same
pretzel yourself into this conversation to avoid blaming Donald Trump for direct military intervention? Okay, like it's not. This is
No,
not.
I do blame. I know I do blame
you're
you. I told
pretzeling
you,
yourself.
I'm having a really hard time with it.
No, you're
Yeah, I'm
pretzeling
not-
yourself.
It's
Okay,
not easy for me to do
very
it.
simple.
Yeah.
Okay, Donald Trump bombed another country using
100%.
the American military without the approval of
100%.
Congress. How do we get in this? We don't do stuff like that.
No. He doesn't need Congress's approval for that. He doesn't. Let's
You
not
can
go down-
say
let's
he
not-
doesn't need it
come on.
regardless. You want to know how we
No.
got here? We got here
No,
because
he
Trump
needs
bombed
to
Iran.
notify them within 48 hours, and if I think it's 60 days.
Sir,
yes, we'll get
are you
one.
here to talk
That's
about
that.
semantics, or are we answering your question of how did we get here?
not
Because the
semantics, it's the
answer to how
Constitution,
we
bud.
got here is Trump bombed Iran. That's how we got here. It's not difficult. It's just how we're here.
I get it, but my question is, how did we get to there? Is the question. So do you think do you think Netanyahu? Do you think he's just that dumb? That's your stance. Is that he's? Just
I think he's very weak-minded and easily manipulated.
Fair. I honestly, I went into this optimistically. I really thought that this was going to turn out a different way. I did not think we were going to do what we did. Like when everybody was when everyone was going crazy, when Tucker was speaking out about it, when Charlie Kirk was speaking out about it, when Dave Smith was talking about impeachment, I was really optimistic, and I thought that I'm like, and when he said he gave him another 2 weeks, I was like, oh, please. I hope that MAGA is right and he's playing 4D chess, but it turns out that they're not. And
Sure,
it's just
Donald
hard
Trump
for me
says
to
2
wrap my
weeks
head
for
around.
everything. Trade deals, 2 weeks. Healthcare plan, 2 weeks. Everything is 2
No,
weeks
I don't
for Donald
disagree.
Trump.
Look,
Everything is 2 weeks.
I don't
Okay,
disagree with you.
but if
Yeah,
you thought that Donald Trump was actually the freaking president of peace, then I don't know what to tell you, man. He dropped more freaking drone. He had more drone strikes in his first presidency than Obama did in 8 years. Okay,
Understood.
literally
Yep.
the second
No,
we got in, we started bombing Somalia. Like the second he stepped back in office, we started bombing in Somalia again. Okay, like
I don't
it's
disagree.
1993
It's
again.
just really hard for me to wrap my head around. And honestly, not that I defend Obama for doing that, but again, it's much better than these catastrophic, boots on the ground wars that we've been fighting. And so look, there's conflict all over the world. I don't think there's any way that you can just be without conflict on the globe. I just don't think that's the way human beings operate. But it's just hard for me to. hard for me to wrap my head around. It just seems really evil, man.
Well, I mean, we can just
It's upsetting.
at least we can say one thing, right off the bat. And first of all, y'all, if you guys like support, I do have super chats open. I'll put them up on the screen. We'll have some fun. So if you guys like support, that is a great way to do it.
Yep.
Oh, it's fun. They send super chats. I put them up on the screen. We have conversations about them. These people are really smart in the chat. They send some really cool stuff. We can get rid of the whole like Donald Trump is the president of peace. We can get rid of that. Okay. We can get rid of he's America first. Right. We can get rid of no new wars. Pretty much and literally, I think at the worst case scenario, like truly best case scenario out of this, Iran shuts down the the port of Hormuz or the Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz. That one.
Yeah. Energy goes up.
Yeah, and your gas price is double.
700%.
Yeah, your gas price is double.
$8 a gallon.
That's the best case scenario. Like truly the best case.
You're right. And I know that our basic in Qatar is like 100 less than 200 miles from Iran.
Someone's telling me they did already. Holy shit!
All of our troops in Baghdad. It's terrible. I mean, this is it's a disaster.
Oh, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I must not have caught that this morning. I apologize. We looked at everything else. The Strait of Hormuz is already shut off.
That? Oh, stop.
Iran's parliament votes to close Strait of Hormuz after U.S. attacks, reported 5 hours ago. And reported again an hour ago.
And you know what that's going to do?
And Forbes again an hour ago. Carol, thank you so much for the subscription.
Can I ask you one quick question and then I'll let you go?
Go ahead.
So Trump just went on that Middle East tour, right? He met with Qatar, met with Saudi Arabia, all of the countries that are going to be affected by this conflict. He went on that tour with, and they were rolling out the red carpet. Do you believe that that these countries understood that this conflict was coming and are prepared, or do you think that there'll be retaliatory action for taking people by surprise? Because in the beginning, I thought that's kind of what the tour was about. When I heard we were going to strike, was like, all right, he was getting all of our allies prepared for this. But after seeing that he used diplomacy in order to escalate the conflict, I'm not quite sure. And
they didn't know anything about it. We didn't tell them anything. I can almost guarantee you that. I can pretty much promise you that.
I don't know where everybody stands, but I think it might be time to pray a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we'll see. Who knows? Maybe he called him the day before or something. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what was said. I don't have any stats to show what was said in that closed door meeting between him and the Crown Prince of Saudi or the leaders of the UAE. I don't know that information. So, yeah, I guess
I have to say I was apathetic during Trump's first term. I obviously saw everything that. I honestly thought that that the left in general, both progressives and liberals, they were being extremely hyperbolic about Trump, and I really thought it did have something to do with the deep state that was pushing everybody in that direction. But I mean, what he did was he kind of proved everybody right in that regard.
Yep, every day I get proven more and more right. It's really nice being in my position. But hey, boss, I'm gonna move on to the next caller. I have been talking to you for a while. We're trying to get to somebody else here. No, man, it was a really good conversation. I really appreciate it. No hate whatsoever. Right, so I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. All right.
No hate. Yep.
All right, man. Bye. All right, that was not a bad start to the conversation for the day. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, She Blinded Me. I appreciate that. Y'all, if you guys like support, again, I do have super chats open. Innumerable Stars says, MAGA folks also think that Epstein was a terrific guy and also wish Ghislaine Maxwell well. There's no two ways about it. Just saying, still haven't seen that Epstein list. Still waiting on that. So if you guys like support, super chats are open on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Also, if you're on TikTok, I'm in a sub wave over here. I need 3 more subs in the next few minutes, whatever. And as always, I do have all my pay links in my bio. They're all Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. So if you'd like to support, that's a great way to do it also. So I really appreciate y'all. We are going to move on to the next caller and see what's going on today. Hello, welcome to the live. How are you today?
Shalom, shalom, hello.
Hello. Hi. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. How old are you?
24.
Awesome. Stand by. One second. Also, if you guys are on the TikTok side, can we get this thing up to 50,000 likes? I really appreciate that. Also, if you guys are on the YouTube side, if you guys could go up to the top and hit that like button for me, I'd really appreciate that. We are going to keep this thing moving. Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for the Meerkats. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Missy and Carol and everybody. Thank you. Awesome. So why do you support Trump?
Why do I support Trump? For a lot of reasons. He puts America first.
Yeah. And how's that?
Well, he stopped the invasion of illegal immigrants.
He stopped the invasion. Okay. So how does that help Americans?
Well, how does that help America? So, whenever you have a corporation who can pay someone a lot less, not give them as much benefits, not give them a 401k, of course they're not going to hire you. They're going to hire the Mexican or the Venezuelan, or they're going to take advantage of all these people. All these corporations have been taking advantage of them.
So wouldn't it be better just to pass laws to stop companies from doing that and
We already
enforce
have
laws?
laws in effect. We already
Then-
have laws in effect.
Then
and they
shouldn't
don't
we have
listen to
just further enforced those laws?
them. Should we further enforce those laws? I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, we should further enforce those laws, and they would stop coming over, I bet.
So what do you think is cheaper? Do you think it'd be cheaper to do the largest mass deportation since the Mexican Repatriation Act, or just enforce companies that force laws on companies that hire undocumented immigrants when they're not supposed to?
I think to get them out, it's going to be cheaper, because if not, they're going to be homeless. They're going to ramp up crime.
Hold on. That's not whether it be homeless or anything like that. Deportation is automatically more expensive. You understand that, right?
Yeah, and that's okay, because they're going to be homeless on our streets committing crime if they don't have a job. How can you? Or they'll go to what they know best, selling drugs.
You think that all immigrants just what they know best is selling drugs? That's incredibly xenophobic.
Do you think so?
Yes.
I don't believe so. A lot of them they've killed hundreds of the cartels have killed more group than any
Do you
other.
think that everyone coming over here is part of the cartel?
No, but I think a huge number of them, and if you're paying them, you're part of them.
Well, undocumented migrants commit violent crime in the United States at a rate 30 times less than U.S. citizens. So how is that possible then?
When was that study done?
End of last year.
End of last year.
Yeah, I think it was like October.
Oh, okay. So would you mind pulling that up, because I'm watching it live?
I guess I could, but do you really need me to?
Yeah, I do need you to, because I just don't believe that's true. Like, they commit a lot of crimes. Have you not seen Chicago and New York?
Sir, you pointing out a couple crimes or a few crimes does not mean that changes. I also saw a MAGA Trump supporter, go in and execute people in their homes. Does that mean that all MAGA Trump supporters are violent criminals?
No.
Oh, so you giving me me giving you an example of somebody doing a violent crime isn't a proof that all people of that group aren't violent criminals?
Okay, and a Biden supporter threw a cocktail Molotovs at Jewish people just for simply protesting for Israel.
Right. So does that mean that every single friggin' Biden supporter is a violent criminal?
A good number of them are.
A good number of them aren't? The answer is no, sir. Please stop being disingenuous if you actually want to have a conversation. Just because you can point out that somebody was a part of a group and they committed a violent crime doesn't mean that that entire group now commits violent crimes, okay? That's not how that works, and that's what makes it very disingenuous. I said October. I was so close. The study was done in September. And it's up here on the screen.
Okay. And so you think it's okay to come to another country and be taken care of, get food stamps, get health care, get everything you want, just simply because you came here?
So first of all, sir, undocumented immigrants don't get any of that stuff. Okay, so let's start there. Documented immigrants did.
Food stamps.
No, they do not, sir. Literally, in order to get food stamps, you have to be part of the system. And to be part of the system, you have to be documented. So yes, while in many states there are places like, asylum seekers, refugee status people, people like that. People that aren't U.S. citizens but are documented do get benefits like that. People that are undocumented and therefore not part of any system do not get those benefits. Right. I mean, personally, if you were to ask me, I would say yes. I would personally prefer that, that people that are starving get food regardless of their legal status. I think that, starvation or famine or any of those things are horrible things regardless of what a person's status is. Okay. But legally, they can't do that.
Well, I live in the state of New Mexico, and I'm telling you right now, that happens all the time. Undocumented immigrants can go in and get way more than me and my American family. Not that we need it, but they can go in and get more than me and my American family. How does that make sense?
Well, first of all, again, sir, do you have some proof showing that's true?
Do I have proof? No, we're over on a phone call. I shouldn't have to have proof. And the American people know it. Even your viewers know it, except for the ones who are just blinded by their hate for
Yeah,
Trump.
so I'll go ahead and
They're
put up on
blind
the
by their
screen.
hate.
No undocumented migrants are generally not eligible for food stamp benefits in the United States. It's literally took me that quick to pull it up.
Well, I'm telling you right now, it happens here in New Mexico all the time, and I'm sure your comment section will confirm that for you.
Sir, I don't need my comment section to confirm anything. I literally just put it up on the screen. We can even put it up here.
I live next to an undocumented Cuban immigrant who has managed to get food stamps, benefits, everything you could imagine, all while selling drugs.
Sir, if he's Cuban, he most likely falls under the refugee status from Cubans in the United States and therefore is not an undocumented migrant. Second of all, I highly doubt with
Obama.
Sir,
He just got here in 2023 during the Biden administration.
Yeah, sir, I highly doubt that any migrant that's undocumented is coming up to you and telling you that they're undocumented. You're about the last person I'd probably tell, honestly.
No, he told me. They would tell me. You know that. And and how do you feel about the Afghanistan withdrawal?
How do I feel about the Afghanistan withdrawal?
It's okay for Biden to leave billions of dollars of equipment in the hands of terrorists.
Well, first of all, that is a gross misrepresentation of what happened. Kayla, thank you so much for the $5 Venmo. Kayla says, I live in the state of New Mexico. The lie detector test determined that is a lie. Appreciate that, Kayla. Thank you so much.
Kayla,
so anyways,
my lie detector determined that you don't live here.
Well, sir, I have Kayla and the entire internet, and you have just you. Okay, so how about we take a break on that real quick, okay, and just calm down. All right, make that camera refocus. There we go. So I think that the Afghanistan pullout was absolutely horrible, right? The way that it was done. And that's why, you had people like Mark Kelly and General Milley talk about how they had advised Donald Trump that the pullout was going to be way too quick and that we shouldn't have been pulling out that fast. And that's why they advised Donald Trump not to negotiate with the Taliban and not to have the country pulled out. Unfortunately, by the time that Biden got in office, there was less than 2,500 troops in the entire country. Okay, and with all of that equipment, and that there was no way to get those people out safely or that equipment. So what they did was they left a lot of the equipment that they had given to the Afghan army over the course of decades, and they left that equipment for them, even though the wasn't negotiated, with the Afghan army. And also, they destroyed all the American equipment that they could, making it unusable. Unfortunately, the Afghan army ran the second that that we left, probably because again they were caught off guard. Because again, this entire pullout wasn't coordinated with them.
Yeah, it was. It was. They call the president the master in chief for a reason. He's the chief. He's in charge of the military. I would know. I have a few brothers in the military, and whenever he says to do something, they do it. And President Biden ordered them to leave. Give it all to them. Give the terrorists weapons. Give the terrorists billions and billions of dollars.
That's a complete lie. First of all, master in chief. You should probably go and check with all those family members that are in the military because you can't even say it right.
Yeah, Master in Chief. Come on, don't you play Halo from Fortnite?
That would be a Master Chief, and that would be the highest ranking enlisted rank in the Navy.
In the Navy? Okay, you have. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, let's keep going. So you think it's okay that we drew out, and then you also think
I don't even know if that's true. I have no idea what the Navy says or whatever. It's Commander-in-Chief, sir. Commander-in-Chief.
We have Hezbollah.
Commander-in-Chief, sir.
Yeah, okay, Commander-in-Chief, Master-in-Chief. Come on, don't you play Halo?
You already used that line.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying
it wasn't funny the first time.
I'm not trying to make you laugh. But I understand, so I think you're what do they call you kind of people? I don't
intelligent.
Think you're genuinely, no, you're not that intelligent.
Good looking,
handsome. You are intelligent. No, you are intelligent. I will give you that. You're charismatic. But you're a plant. There you go. You're a plant.
No, I'm a human. I'm not a plant. I don't have leaves.
Yes, you're an industry plant, and they planted you here. The Dems have planted you here to
charismatic. There we go. That sounds right. That sounds better.
When the
charismatic. That's right. Okay. See, I need more coffee
Oh
today.
yeah. And how do you feel about all the children that went missing under the Biden administration? You're okay with that?
Man, you're just a talking point away, aren't you, all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. As soon as I bring up the kids, where are the
No,
kids?
I'm just
Where are
tired
the
of
kids?
jumping from topic to topic to topic because as soon
Yeah,
as I
because you're a
respond to this
fucking
one,
loser. You're in your fucking all your fucking viewers should kill yourselves. All you fat nobodies. You guys are all fat nobodies, fat losers.
mm-hmm.
You fucking fat ugly niggers.
Can I ask you a question? Oh, he left before I could answer a question. I was going to ask him a question. That's unfortunate. He left. All right, let's get to some more super chats really quick. Oh my goodness, thank you guys so much for finishing off my meerkats over there on TikTok. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, SH. Cheyenne, thank you for the super chat. It says, same president that rally campaigned on taking Greenland and Canada into states. This is how unbelievable that he has involved himself in a war. Yeah, I don't know why really anybody is surprised. He got there real quick. He got there really quick. It really isn't surprising. And Funny Kids, thank you so much for the super chat. It said, how do I get this? Is there a wait list? No, there's not a wait list. I just have a phone number and you can call it in. And then if you're like the first one, then I'll talk to you. That's all it is. Sorry, I don't have some big studio where I have a wait list and someone, doing all that stuff. So sorry. Danielle, thank you so much for the Venmo. Says, hey, Paulie, have you seen the audits of a couple swing states and course case in Rockland County, New York? Please check it out. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I will gladly check that out. Thank you so much, Danielle. All right. We're going to open up these phone lines, keep this thing going. And thank you guys all so much for the support. I really, really appreciate y'all. I'm going to leave this one up for a bit. Cheyenne, I'm going to leave that up for a bit. Hi, welcome to the live. How are you today?
Yeah, what's going on, buddy?
Not too much. How old are you?
38, former military, and I'm not either side. I'm an American.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. But do you support Trump or no?
I support America.
All right, sir. Well, I'm only looking for really Trump supporters right now, but I appreciate it and thank you and have a wonderful day. Hello, how are you today?
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Smiles. I said highest
am I on right
enlisted person, not the highest ranking person. Yes, you are. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I'd say 70-30, yes.
All right. Why do you support Trump?
Well, I really just want to address what the last caller said, if that's cool. I don't know if you...
Address what he said about what?
Mostly the immigration discussion.
Okay. Wait. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Sorry. I have alerts going on. Are you talking from my side or his side?
I'll talk from his side, I guess. He made an ass of himself, and I think it's fair to, I don't want to go out with a bad look like that for people who think that maybe a more secure border or deportations or something like that is a good thing. So I'd like to rep myself rather than that.
I mean, I'm not saying that having deportations is a bad thing. I'm not saying that us having a secure border is a bad thing. I don't disagree with either of those statements.
It's insane.
Basically, the heavy hand. I think most normal people can agree as well. And again, this is coming from someone who probably, I'd say, like I said, 70-30 in support of Trump in general. The principal argument, I think, is fairly easy, and that's the kind of thing that most Americans agree on. Like you said, secure border, deportations, maybe less heavy-handed potentially, and people who are on the right, per se, just more conservative thinking, leaning in general, just don't necessarily support the complete heavy-handedness that these deportations have been happening. Obviously Trump scaled some things back. He's like telling people not to target farms or maybe places with manual labor going on that have a larger industry affected.
Sorry,
Yeah,
just to be clear, man. Sorry, we're kind of like getting lost in the sauce over here. What can you tell me what your point is, so we know where we're standing here? Because I don't really know where we're sitting.
Sure. Yeah. My point in general is I think the current status of deportations, heavy-handed as they may be, is a net positive.
You think deportation is a net positive?
Yeah, as they're happening with the cons
How?
that come along with them, I think they're a net positive.
How?
I think the biggest thing is the precedent that it sets, right? If you, like, last administration, just in general, a poor, let's say somebody in a second or third world country who has the opportunity to come to America illegally, they're going to take that chance. They're going to put themselves, their family at risk making the journey. And it's just going to be extremely dangerous for them, potentially get into the country, maybe die along the way. I don't really know what the stats are. And then come here and then potentially contribute to the economy in a relatively minor way. Also potentially be a burden to the taxpayer.
Well, we know they're not going to be a burden to the taxpayer. There's tens of billions of dollars that are put into our economy and into our GDP by migrants, by all statuses every year, and that's in excess of the money that they actually cost America. So we know that from the get-go that they are not a burden on our economy as a whole. I mean, unless you're talking about somebody individually, right? But precedent doesn't change laws, sir. And by the way, if somebody is coming over here to seek asylum in this country and they are willing to risk the lives of their family and everybody around them and themselves in order to get here to this country, in order to save themselves from whatever is going on in their country, then I think that we should be pretty accepting of the people and why they're coming over here. Because I know that as a father, right, like I'm not risking the life of my child through, possibly both of our deaths in order to go to another country unless I believe that is going to save our lives.
And I completely agree. There's absolutely no moral fault with the people making the decision to make that journey. But basically, once we put our foot down, we say, this is not allowed, you're not going to be able to make it in. And essentially, it's going to force people into, hey, we have to look inward. We got to do something about our own, basically, where we are from, right? We're essentially letting corrupt governments off the hook because we're saying, hey, we'll take the people who maybe we would have pushed for some regime change in a third world country that they're coming from, and saying, we'll take those people who basically have no chance in their home country. We'll take them, which again, not a huge moral issue with that, but essentially we're just letting these corrupt regimes, basically failed states exist like that.
Okay, all right. Well, you're kind of just rambling on now, but I want to bring this back to a point. First of all, we did understand that the Northern Triangle was destabilized, okay, and we had problems within Northern South America that was destabilized. And when everybody's like, "Oh, Kamala Harris was the border czar," Kamala Harris wasn't the border czar. She did have one specific job when it came to immigration, which was to go into those countries in the Northern Triangle and meet with the leaders of those countries, right? And help to restabilize those communities to stop people from needing to come over here. That was the entire point. And literally she went down there and they did that. And within months, there was a 50% reduction of asylum seeking in the United States. So much so that by the time Biden left office, the amount of encounters at the southern border were lower than the average that it was under Donald Trump's administration. All right. So we did do that. You're talking about, we need to have these countries and force these countries to, have these countries to be in a place where the people don't need to leave here to go seek asylum. Yes, we understood that. Okay. And we did it. Right. The difference of what you're doing now is by saying you're putting this foot down, you're not stopping people from coming to the United States. Right. You're not stopping people from coming to the border. What you're doing is instead of them being able to come here on some sort of legal way for them to be able to seek asylum and do things in a legal way, what you're now doing is you're forcing those families to now go to places like people like the cartel and have them snuck over, use, things like coyotes, right, to be able to come into the United States, which causes more danger, right? And then causes more drain on the U.S. economy because now these people are paying less taxes, right? So this heavy-handed, we're going to shut down the border and we're going to stop everybody from coming in for everything, okay, does the exact opposite of every single point that you were trying to make.
I'm extremely hesitant to accept the fact, so even if there was actually a 50% drop, that was due to Kamala's action in those countries and not the looming election, or basically once, like the stat you quoted was after Biden left office, which basically was in the months where Trump was about to assume office, which the basically, hey, secure border campaign message.
No, you're confused on your timeline there. I said by the time Biden left office, the numbers were that low. That campaign started a year and a half, over a year prior to that, and that's when we started seeing the reductions.
But the numbers dropping, like that stat in particular, is Trump has been the presumptive, not the president for 4 months at that point, or 2 months.
Sir, this started in January of 2023.
My point still holds that the accepting, welcoming White House has been.
Gotcha. So Kamala Harris
has not changed through.
Kamala Harris met with these countries.
Even if there was a 50%.
Kamala Harris met with these countries. We gave money to these countries. We helped to restabilize these countries. We saw a direct response from that of again the reduction of asylum seekers in this country, starting in I didn't say January of 2023. I meant December of 2023. Okay, well over like almost a year before the election, and you're saying that reduction was based off an election that wasn't for 11 more months.
I'm saying the stat that you quoted when Biden left office, that it really should be by November.
It had been going down every month for a year.
Going down from an astronomically high number is not that significant anyway.
Sir, please just try to address my points, because you're doing a really bad job. I know you're trying to pretzel yourself around this point because I said by the time Biden left office, because I gave a number that happened to be there, that you think that month is somehow the point of the conversation that I had, but it wasn't.
So the reduction, what is important are the numbers that would have happened from December of 2023 until November of 2024.
Do you think migrants watch Trump's Truth Social?
No, but they understand who's in power and the messaging that's coming from them.
Gotcha. So they slowed down coming here again over a year before Donald Trump was put in office, well before he was elected. So they just understood that, that Trump was going to be in power in a year, well before an election. That's why they slowed.
Well, not necessarily originally. Originally, I will say Biden was put under significant pressure. Basically, once the election race starts, he's getting criticized on immigration. He starts to crack down. The Biden White House did start to crack down basically coming up to the election because they knew immigration was a weak point. And totally fair. Kamala could have had some success with whatever she was doing with these countries. I wouldn't. You said so. She went down in the late 2023. I would imagine any effects from that probably would have taken at least several months to actually.
So the Biden administration had an immigration bill on the table a week after he took office. It was stopped by Republicans.
The quote unquote, you could call it immigration bill. You could call it 10 other things.
No, you can just call it an immigration bill. It was a standalone immigration bill. There was nothing else in it.
I doubt that. I don't know for a fact. But
I don't care. Do it that you doubt. I mean, there was 3 different immigration bills. The last one, the only reason it had anything else with it was because Republicans requested that it had more stuff in it. So
that's fine. I don't really know about the bill, so I'll grant you that.
Yeah, not only the Republicans request that it got put onto Ukraine and Israel funding, the Republicans requested that, even though the Republicans wrote the immigration bill. But then the Republicans shot it down because of the Israel and Ukraine funding. And then they approved the standalone bills for the Ukraine and for the Israel funding without approving the immigration bill.
The Republican minority at that point.
The Republican majority in the House of Representatives, which was the House of Legislation that stopped it.
Okay, that's fine. I can accept a
Sir,
lot.
that's why I'm telling you this entire the rhetoric of the hard stance is just complete BS, man. This is a ridiculous argument. Migrants don't read Donald Trump's Truth Social. They don't watch Fox News. They don't care about the rhetoric, okay? They care about what's going on at the border. Yes, under the Biden administration, we had a record number of asylum seeking in this country, which is why he sent Kamala Harris down to the Northern Triangle to begin with. Okay, because they recognized that we had way too many people showing up at the border and it wasn't that good of a thing. Okay, so we needed stricter immigration laws and we needed more border patrol agents in order to patrol, in order to process, and more border patrol agents to be able to do all of this stuff. So the consistency around the entire Biden administration was to be able to fund that. You can't fund more border patrol with executive orders. It doesn't work that way. Okay, executive orders don't have the power of the purse, right? You need legislation, which is why Biden tried over 3 or maybe even 4 different occasions over his presidency to fund the border patrol more and wasn't allowed to, right? Finally, he had to resort to executive action, which again did a certain level of being able to slow border crossings, right? But it didn't fix the overall ideal that we need more money at the border. Okay.
And
that's
fair
what we
that
need. That's
more
what
money at
fixes
the
things.
border.
Okay. But making this idea, just because Fox News and Donald Trump say, failed border. We had huge numbers of deportations under the Biden administration. We had huge numbers of stops and apprehensions under the Biden administration. We had all of the things that people, talk about how, great Trump is and this and that, but we had all of those numbers. Hell, Donald Trump can't even get to the number of deportations right now that Joe Biden had last year. He's behind Joe Biden.
I would imagine the ratio is higher under Trump. The ratio of crossings to deportations is significantly better under Trump. I have to imagine.
It's not crossings, it's encounters. Okay.
Okay.
But encounters, but the
crossings
reason why there's
Trump.
less crossings is because Donald Trump has essentially shut down legal immigration in this country.
Legal immigration has absolutely nothing to do with this.
It has everything to do
crossing.
with it. He has literally shut down asylum seeking in the United States for the overwhelming majority of people. He's pretty much shut it down. And each single one of those asylum seekers, who are again legal migrants in the United States, are an illegal crossing every single time. Okay. The only difference is that Joe Biden was actually processing them according to the law, and Donald Trump has essentially just shut down freaking asylum seeking because of an emergency declaration that doesn't even that shouldn't even be legal.
A potential emergency declaration, I'll accept if we exceed our quota for legal migrants, which we have our quota, we shoot past it every year. And at that point, I think it's fair to say, hey, this is an emergency now. We need to straight up close the border. We have accepted what we determined we can handle. And beyond that, if you cross the border, it is illegal, right?
That's totally fine, but that's not legal.
That's how it is.
And there is no quota on asylum seekers in the United States.
I believe there is an asylum seeker quota.
There is not. There's an asylum on visas. There's a quota on visas.
I think there's an asylum quota
not.
As well.
Nope.
You're absolutely. Let me look it up real quick if you don't mind.
You can look it up all you want. Yo, while he's trying to look this up, I'm going to pull up some super chats. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Mike, thank you so much. Said previous guy showed him how much of a tool he was as soon as he encountered any sort of rational thought. Yeah, I thought that conversation was actually going to go really smoothly, and then it just kind of just off the deep end towards the end. It kind of recovered a little bit. But thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. And
all right, I'm back with you.
And then Jeffrey says, Israel being the sole Jewish state in the region and having recorded evidence of Iran threatening to annihilate Israel, do you think Israel was wrong to preemptively strike? Absolutely. Absolutely. But really, if they wanted to, I really don't give a shit. To be completely honest with you, they were attacking would be considered a military target. So I really don't care that much. I do care the United States is getting involved because this isn't our fight to fight. If Israel wanted to do that without the United States, whatever, man. I don't care. They can fight their own wars. We don't need them. Personally. What happened to America first? But thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I do really appreciate it, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. But yeah, what happened to America first? What happened to no new wars? What happened to, this isolationist, ideal that Donald Trump has been preaching since forever? I mean, he specifically said, while Obama was president, that if that we were going to end up in a war with Iran because of Obama's weak leadership, because he doesn't know how to negotiate. Those were like Donald Trump's exact words from his first term. And now hold on, dude. Chill. And then he turned around and then literally started a war with Iran because of his inability to negotiate. Literally in the middle of negotiations, he started the war. He did exactly what he accused Barack Obama of. Crazy. So anyways, where's your source?
So I'll grant you, there's no limit on asylum. I thought there was, and I think it would be reasonable to set one. I also don't have a total issue with just capping it or declaring an emergency, some kind of emergency, and capping it, because the ceiling is set by the president, so he does have the power to do that. But yeah, there's no set number. There's no act of Congress that has to happen to raise that number or anything. But yeah, on the general principle, I'm okay with him.
Well, sir, the bill under the Biden administration would have limited and put a cap on asylum seeking. Again, the one that the Republicans stopped.
That's great. I'm sure there's more about the bill that I would disagree with that I don't know about.
So you haven't read the bill?
Of course I have not read the bill.
So you're just arbitrarily saying that a bill that was written by a conservative, that was written by a Republican, you wouldn't like?
I would almost say with 100% certainty that there's significant amount of fat that I would disagree with in almost every single bill, no matter what party passes it, and I don't think that's controversial. I think you would say the same.
No, I think it is absolutely crazy for you to say that you disagree with parts of a bill that you haven't read and don't know the details of. I think that really shows and I mean this I'll say I mean this kind of personally. Okay? It really just shows how out of touch you are with what's actually going on, right? Because instead of saying hey, there could be a bill, right, that I would support for immigration and we can create a good bill, you're literally saying that you disagree with a bill that you've never even tried to look at, right? That you've never read. It's been around here for a long time. So this could be the most perfect immigration bill ever, where you agree with every single thing. But instead of being oh, okay, yeah, there's could be tons of things that I agree with this bill, you're oh, I just wouldn't like it because of whatever. That's kind of sad, man.
If I was voting on it, it's so obvious. You're trying to twist my words. If I was voting on it or making some kind of legitimate contribution to this bill moving forward, I would do the whatever work, reading it as necessary to make an informed decision. I'm not a politician. I'm obviously not going to read every bill that's going through.
You're an American citizen who literally your number one reason for supporting Trump is immigration. You would think that you would do the research to see what kind of immigration bills that have been trying to pass and who was stopping them and what representatives voted for or against them. Hell, that could have been the most perfect immigration bill ever. And your representative that you vote for, that represents you in your district, could have voted against a bill that was perfect for you. And you don't know. You're literally just going off, literally your entire, the entire crux of your argument is Trump says words. And I'm sorry, that's just not good enough, man.
I mean, if you're surprised by that, then you have to be out of touch with how a normal person operates when it comes to politics.
I don't think a normal person comes up and tries to just argue politics with somebody. If you're pretty much just saying I'm uninformed and everybody else is uninformed, so I'm wrong. That's pretty much what you're saying now.
People don't read bills. People are not 100% informed.
Then people should listen instead of trying to argue. If people, i.e. you, don't know anything about bills, i.e. you, then maybe you, instead of trying to have a debate with me about immigration policy, you should just listen and get informed on what these immigration policies actually say. And then you would be informed enough to actually make a decision on whether what you're supporting or not supporting is actually what you should or should not be supporting. But instead, you choose to keep yourself uninformed. You choose to be purposefully ignorant, right, when it comes to the immigration policy. Yet you choose to have, these strong stances on these on this policy, and you don't know the policy. That's your choice. Don't say everybody else. That's your choice to stay in the dark. That's your choice to stick your head in the sand. Okay, that's yours. So so don't be trying to pull it on anybody else. Okay.
Can I get a word in?
No, I mean, you've already said you don't know anything about anything, so why should I want to hear your stuff on immigration anymore?
You're gonna dunk on me. I'm saying
No, it's that's already happened. I hung on the rim and everything.
Nice. This particular bill, I'm saying it could be perfect, and if it was, I would be completely in support of it. That's fine. I'm not arguing for the intricacies of this bill that I don't know 100%, right? More border patrol funding, I'm for that. Basically, strengthen the border at all. In any case, that is a good thing. The objective needs to be to dissuade people from leaving their country to come to America, period. And however that gets done, I think it's probably extremely effective when the narrative from the top down, the administration, is strong. Hey, the border is closed, period. You cannot possibly try to
narrative just makes you feel good. It doesn't do anything. Narrative just makes you feel good. It doesn't actually do anything. Okay? Policy does things. Changing laws, doing executive orders, those type of things actually change things. Those are the type of things that actually make a difference in this country. Just some guy saying something, the president just saying something, does absolutely nothing but make you feel good, and that's fine. If it makes you feel good, that's fine. But making you feel good doesn't change anything. We need actual policy. We need legislation. We need politicians to do what we elect them to do, which is to pass laws and to change laws and to make sure things stay funded, so we actually can have a secure border. And Donald Trump just saying shit doesn't really mean much of anything to me. Okay, but anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. All right.
I'm glad you're arguing for us.
All right. Cool. Danielle, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It says, love you, and Trump is on a power trip. I really appreciate that. And Straight Rippin says, who should be deported? Should we have border security? Of course we should have border security. Obviously we should have border security. That's crazy to even think that maybe we shouldn't. That's why I supported bills that had border security that, again, were stopped by Trump, that were stopped by Republicans. All right? I support those policies because I believe that we should have border security. It's not difficult. See, that's the thing. Donald Trump has made this whole thing a political talking point instead of actually just fixing it. We could have fixed it. Donald Trump just wants to talk about it. Okay. That's all. Instead of just doing something about it, he wants to just talk about it. I want somebody who wants to do something about it. Y'all give me 2 seconds real quick. I'll come back and we'll go to the next phone call. All right, let's keep this thing moving. Oh my God, just me, one of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much for the huge $30 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. It says, if we elect Trump, we'll be at war within 6 months. Kamala Harris. That is 100% correct. Kamala Harris did say that we would be war within 6 months. And he just snuck in there, didn't he? He just snuck in there. He made sure. He was like, man, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get there or not. He's like, I got to prove her right. I got to sneak it in right before that 6 months. Thank you so much, Just Me. I really appreciate that. W's in the chat for Just Me. I really, really appreciate that huge $30 super chat. All right, we're gonna open up these phone lines and keep this thing going. I'm gonna leave that up for a little bit. I want everybody to be able to see that. She blinded me. Thank you so much. Again, y'all, if you guys would like support, I do have super chats open on YouTube. That is the best way to support. And if you're on TikTok, subbing is always really awesome. I do have them set to like the smallest amount, and I do have my little live gift goals here too. So if you guys would like to support, those are great ways to do it. Also, of course, in my bio, I do have all my pay links, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. So if you like support, that's also another great way to do it. So I really appreciate y'all. All right, let's open up these phone lines. Keep this thing moving. Well, I am getting a little hungry too. How long have I been on? Let's see. Okay, I got a little bit longer. Hello, welcome to the live. How are you today?
How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
For me?
How old are you?
Said, how old am I?
Yes, sir.
I'm 55.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. One more second. One more PSA. Y'all, on the TikTok side, we get this up to 75,000 likes. I really appreciate that. On YouTube, if you guys haven't already, can you guys go up to the top, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new here, too. We do this every day but Thursdays as I'm getting on an actual schedule again. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right. So why do you support Trump, sir?
Okay. Why do I support Trump? Let me ask you a question. Is it legal to rob a bank?
No.
Is it legal to speed through a school zone?
No.
Is it legal
Sir, I'm not going to
to-
play the is it legal to game. Can you get to your point now?
Okay. Well, I'll get to the point. It's illegal to come across the border illegally. If you come through the proper channels, do pay the taxes and everything, then you're welcome into this country. But whenever you have 10 million people come across the border undocumented and not pay their taxes and not fill the paperwork out and go through the process, it's illegal.
Yes,
Illegal
sir. I'm not.
is illegal.
Yeah, sir. Well, first of all, if that's your stance, Joe Biden deported well more when it came to undocumented criminals than Donald Trump did.
No, he's
didn't. Sir. Second of all, just last year, Joe Biden deported 700,000 people, and Donald Trump hasn't even hit 3,000 yet. Okay. Or sorry, 3,000. 700,000 hasn't hit 300,000 yet. Okay. So Donald Trump is behind even Joe Biden from last year. Okay. Second of all, Donald Trump and Joe Biden both have the exact same law they're working with when it comes to stopping people from coming across the border illegally. It's illegal under both of them. Okay. That hasn't changed. The only reason that Donald Trump is able to limit border encounters is by stopping documented migrants from coming into this country. He's shutting down asylum seeking, which is a documented process according to 8 U.S. Code 1158 to enter this country legally. Okay, that is how he is stopping people, and he can't even deport enough people, which is why he's deporting freaking people that are here on visas, like you said, here paying taxes. He's deporting American citizens. Okay, he's deporting people from their ICE immigration court hearings, where they're literally doing all of the process and things that you said that you want them to do. Okay, he's taking them from their court cases while they are trying to get that legal status to do all of the things that you're asking for,
whenever you
and
have a
ripping
court
them
case,
from
some
it.
of these people have a court case they get a court case given to them, they have to show up 10 years later. That's insufficient.
I completely agree, sir. That's why the Biden border bill that he had, the Langford border bill under the Biden administration that was backed by Joe Biden, literally added more court staff and more people to be able to process those cases faster. It would have reduced the average time of somebody that was seeking asylum to get their court date from over 5 years to down to 6 months. It was actually very much protested by immigration lawyers because it was so fast that they did not believe that they would be able to actually get a valid defense for their clients in that amount of time. So you're right. I completely agree that waiting 5, 6, 7, up to 10 years for a court case is completely inefficient. That is why I support that bill that would have reduced that amount of time.
But whenever you have Alejandro Mayorkas saying the border's closed, and then you see on television them still coming across the border wasn't closed.
Well, sir, I can show you videos of that from the Trump administration. I can show you that videos of people coming across the border right now. I can show you videos of people jumping over Biden or Trump's border wall. I can show you videos of people tunneling underneath it. I can show you videos of all of those things. Okay, but just because I can show you videos of people,
I would love to see it because I've never seen it yet.
Well, yes, sir. I assume you listen to a lot of Fox News, and I'm pretty sure they're not very apt to show it. Okay, but it's very much out there, sir.
Just like today about the bombing and all that over there in Iraq or Iran. I'm sorry. They said on BBC that there was several different locations that they bombed. No, it was only 3.
3 is several.
It was only three areas.
That is several, sir.
There was not several. It was 3 places.
Okay.
I mean, the BBC CNN, MSNBC, they all spew lies. 'Cause I watch all three.
Maybe
four
I'm
networks.
tripping. Let's see. Definition of several: more than two, but not many. I believe that three falls into that. So when they
It's insane.
said several and it was three, that is an accurate definition.
It was only three.
Sir, three is several.
How do you get three out of several?
Sir, the definition of several: more than two, but not many. Is three more than two?
Of course it is.
Is it not many?
It's not many, no.
Okay, so literally-
three areas is where they bombed.
Yeah, so literally the definition of several, and it's on the screen for everybody to see. Okay, I'm not like losing my mind because I thought I was for a second. Several, three is several. That if you describe the number three as several, you are correct.
I did not say it was several. The BBC and other news networks were saying several different locations were bombed. There was not several different locations, only three.
Sir, several is three. Several, the definition of several is more than two. Three is more than two. The definition of several keeps three is in there.
Where do you get your mouth at? It's 7 7. 3 is 3. I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't.
3 locations. There's only 3 locations, not several.
I don't know what to say anymore. I don't. Sir, the definition of the word several is more than two.
No.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's my conversation of the day, y'all. I just thought I'd let you know that. That's the conversation of the day. Okay? We got it for that. Kayla, thank you so much for the Venmo. Says, hey, is confusing the word seven and several mega math? I don't know. That's wild. I thought I was being really polite and just trying to explain it. I'm sorry. I don't Aaron, thank you so much for the subscription over there on TikTok. I appreciate that. Let's get through a couple of super chats. We'll reopen up the phone lines. Several. Jesus Christ. All right. Straight ripping. If Russia invaded Ukraine under Trump, heaven forbid.
It's insane.
Yeah, it would have been crazy, I guess. I don't know. I don't blame the U.S. president for things that happen everywhere. I'm sorry, I don't. Nana Beans, thank you so much. Hey, I want to chat. Not a Trump supporter when my calls don't go in. Can I still call? Love what you're doing. I am looking for Trump supporters right now, but I might let up a little bit. We'll see what's up. But again, it's really just who ends up at the end of the call. Katie, thank you so much for the Cash App. Said Katie, sorry. Katie, thank you so much for the $3 Cash App. It said for several dollars. Katie, thank you so much for the Cash App. That is several dollars. Sorry. Oh goodness. Thank you so much. Douglas, he is 55. He can't think straight. Dude, Douglas, I was trying to be nice, man. I was trying so hard to be nice. I really was. I thought I was doing everything I could. Okay, I really, really was. I'm sorry. Like at a certain point, I didn't know how to explain it anymore. I will clip that for later. I will clip that. Mike, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Said, man, my man thought several means 7. This is what we were dealing with. I know. Like, I mean, they do start with the same 4 letters. Okay. They do start with the same 4 letters. So, I mean, we do have that. All right. Daniel, thank you so much for the super chat. And Veronica said, I'd clip that. Yeah, I will, Veronica. I'll clip it later. That'll be a fun little clip. I'm not posting anything on TikTok until they give me my main account back. Rubinator, thank you also for the Cash App of several more dollars. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I need a several dollars emote to put on for my members and my subs on both sides. If you guys are on my Discord, you guys make emotes. You guys can send me a several dollars emote, and I'll put it in for my members on YouTube and my subscribers on TikTok. I really appreciate that. Speaking of that, Aaron, thank you so much for the sub over there on TikTok. I really appreciate that. All right, let's open up these phone lines one more time. Let's keep this thing going. Yep. All right. Sorry, I forgot to answer it. Hello? Haram, the Discord link is in my link tree in my bio, even though I'm not sure that you might have to copy and paste it because I don't think I ever made it clickable. I don't think I ever made it. It's in my link tree though. That's in my bio on my YouTube and on my
so first off, I'm gonna say,
whoa,
I'm not trying to be rude or anything.
Whoa. Who saw? It's clickable now, Killer. Thank you. I know it's clickable on my TikTok. I didn't know if it was clickable on my YouTube or not. Awesome. How old are you?
Oh, I'm 22.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do not, but I was actually a former Trump supporter during his first administration.
Okay, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming back to the good side. But I am looking for Trump supporters. And do you have something you want to say real quick? I'll let you say something real quick.
I just wanted to say that guy. I'm not trying to be rude because obviously I like looking at things through both angles. But that guy, I want what he was on. If I'm being honest, I don't know where he got 7 from.
Nah, man, I don't want to talk trash on the guy, man. Sorry. Like I think he was just a little confused. I think he was an older guy. He's a little confused. I don't want to talk trash on him. I don't think that's right, man. But you have a good one. It's funny. It's really funny, but I don't want to just sit there and harp on the guy. That's not nice. He might have just had a few today on a Sunday. Okay. You know what? I think there's some WNBA games on right now. Maybe he was just he was enjoying. He heard all about the WNBA. I'm gonna go watch that. I'm gonna go watch the Fever game in a little bit.
Nigger.
I'm gonna go watch the Fever game in a little bit. Maybe he was just sorry. He had several cocktails. My bad. There are several WNBA games playing today. Hello.
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
Going all right, man.
Yeah. So, first of all, how old are you? Caller, how old are you?
Hey, 35.
35. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
All right. Real quick. I got to say this little PSA real quick before I go any further, okay? So I've never been a WNBA person. I haven't, okay? I've never been a WNBA person. I don't pretend to be a big WNBA fan. And the Caitlin Clark thing is like really cool. And that's fine. Like I've watched clips of her and I'm like, okay, that's really good and whatever. But I will say this. That girl, that was it something Cunningham that's on the Fever? Sophie Cunningham. That's her. I saw her grab that girl and like by the hair and say, what you gonna do about it? And I was like, I'm watching the Fever game today on Sunday. Like straight up. Like I literally saw, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I saw her grab that girl by her hair and say, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, I'm watching the basketball game today on Sunday. I'm telling you right now. Like that was enough to get me going. I was like, all right, I'm ready to party. I'm ready to party. All right, caller. Sorry. So why do you support Trump?
Man, I just think he's a cool, down-to-earth guy, you know, country, and think he, wants to keep us strong.
All right,
Yeah,
so
it seems-
I'm assuming you're trolling.
no.
Oh, the New York rich guy who received 400 million from his dad is just a nice country guy.
Well, I mean, as far as who he is, not what he does.
Not who he's a literal freaking New York liberal.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he was going to do more for us than Biden.
Well, I mean, he did do more. Biden did not get us into World War III, and we are there now. So we have a lot more.
Right. So is that what you don't like about Trump? Is the possibility of war?
I mean, there's a lot I don't like about Trump, but I'll say that's probably my least favorite right now. Yeah.
You think that wouldn't be the case if Biden was still president?
Well, I would probably say no, but I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know that it did happen under Trump, and Trump said that it would happen under Obama, and said that it was because of Obama's incompetence why we would end up getting into a conflict with Iran because of Obama's lack of ability to negotiate. So if Donald Trump says that if we're bombing Iran, it's because of incompetence and an inability to negotiate, then I guess the same thing applies to him. So I'll just take.
Oh, I thought it was.
I'll
I
take
thought it
Trump's-
was due to globalism, and the fact that the fiat dollar is dead, dying. Part of the Great Reset. We need a digital currency. So it's a little bit,
God.
a little bit bigger than that.
Oh God.
But no QAnon or none of that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's, we need a new currency globally.
Yeah, is this some like QAnon reptile people crypto bro shit?
No, just looking at the way everything is and kind of making sense of it, where we are, where we're going. The dollar has to go.
Okay, so that's exactly what it is.
It's not a stable currency.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I just don't debate with crypto bros because it's a waste of all of our time.
Oh, I'm not a crypto bro. I don't even have any. I don't have any Bitcoin or anything like that. No, like a totalitarian government. No, I wouldn't give my money to Bitcoin.
Did you? It feels like you said the words totalitarian government, but they didn't fit with any of the other words that you said. Like it was like you just said like you just threw those words in there. Like you heard like totalitarian government on like a podcast or something, and you were like, "Man, I should say that at some point."
No.
Have you had several? Have you had several adult beverages today, sir?
No.
Wow. Just 7.
Totalitarian government meaning like no, it's not like I know what that is. That's why I'm talking about digital currency and that.
You have a wonderful day. Okay, say hi to the lizard people for me. All right.
I'll try.
All right. Cool. Weird that. Man. Bro, it's gotta be, dude, gotta be. There ain't no way. The good old country boy Trump. You just picture Trump, cowboy boots, F-150. Just a country boy. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, sir. Yeah, so I'm calling in. I'm assuming I am a Trump supporter, but I'm calling in, for the recent developments. I'm sure you've watched the news. And I don't want to bore you because I'm sure you've been asked this question a bunch. What are your thoughts on the U.S. helping Israel attack Iranian sites?
You said you're a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir.
I thought, what happened to America first? What happened to no new wars? What happens to the peacemaker? What happened to him saying that if Obama had to attack Iran, it was because he was a bad negotiator and because he was incompetent? What happened to all of that?
Well, I'll two answers for that. My main answer would be that we've been at war with Iran for at least the last 10 years. If you look at a history of conflict in the Middle East between the U.S. and Iran in the last 10 years, there's been, people have died. Like Hezbollah has attacked U.S. soldiers. There was a drone strike on a U.S. base on a few weeks after October 3rd of 2023. So would you agree that Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas are proxy groups of Iran?
Of course they are. I have no love lost for Iran.
Okay, cool. So
that doesn't change anything that I just said. Donald Trump's entire ideal behind helping Israel attack was apparently denuclearization. Okay, we were in the middle of denuclearization talks. The only reason we were in those denuclearization talks is because Donald Trump pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal. Okay, he said, and again, that Iran nuclear deal was the deal that was done by Obama, the one that Trump said he would never get done. He got it done. Then Trump pulled us out of it, and now while he's trying to negotiate it, he could not negotiate well enough and failed and was weak, according to his own words, and had to bomb Iran. Because we didn't attack targets that were financial institutions for Iran, or to attack targets that would limit their ability to fund proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas. We didn't stop that. We didn't attack any Hezbollah or Hamas targets, or any targets of any other terrorist group that Iran is backing. We didn't try to overthrow the government or try to do any of the things that would affect any of the stuff that you just said. We just bombed nuclear sites, which our own intelligence agencies said we're not creating nuclear weapons. So like you said, is Iran backing all these places? 100%. Should we just be okay with that? Absolutely not. I think that, again, I have no love lost for Iran. But if that was the idea, was to stop that, we did a really bad job.
Okay, so I'll meet you in the middle. I do agree with some of the things that you said, but I disagree in the sense that I don't believe that the world is necessarily a safer place if we just allow Iran to continue with their nuclear program. And I've heard from all the media pundits, oh, it's only 10% enrichment, 20%. It's like, come on now. Even like the people on the furthest, the most progressive people can't be that gullible. Like they're, working towards a nuclear bomb. Now, I do believe that okay, so I'm a conservative, right? Most people in my camp, they support Russia. They're anti-Ukraine. They don't want us sending money to Ukraine. I'm actually against that. I think that if Russia was to hypothetically take over Ukraine, he has control of Kiev. Now Russia is sharing a border with Poland, for crying out loud. It doesn't necessarily make the world a safer place. So what's your thoughts on that? Like if we just let's say we didn't help Israel at all, right? And Israel and Iran just go back and forth. Like the world isn't as necessarily becoming safer. Neither is Iran. Like people think that if we just cooperate with Iran, lift the sanctions, condemn Israel, that they're all of a sudden just going to want to be our friends. Like, I'm sorry, sir, that's just not true. Like if you look at the literature.
Hold on, but who's saying that? I'm sorry, I've never heard anyone say that. On the left or the right?
Well, okay. Well, actually, no. If you look at a large majority of the, if you look at The View, you look at, Sam Cedar.
The View is very far from foreign relations experts.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough. But if you look at Kyle Kalinske, Hasanabi, Sam Cedar, like they kind of are of the opinion that, the only reason people in a large majority of the people East hate people in America, or they hate America, is because of foreign intervention. And that is just not true. Like, it's not just because of foreign intervention. It's because of a large, there's a large history behind this, which we don't have enough time for, but it's majority anti-Western sentiment, right? And Iran is fighting a proxy war with the Saudis, right? Because the Saudis are Sunni, they're allied, and the Gulf states are allied with America, and Iran is Shiite, and all their proxy militias.
Sir, I'm just trying to get some clarity. I'm just trying to get some clarity, and I don't know where. You're saying a lot of stuff, and some of which I agree with, some of which I disagree.
Hold on.
I'm not. I'm just.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Can we just get there, please? I said
I got you. I got
you're not
you.
specifically saying anything like I don't all wholly disagree with you. I don't agree with you either. I'm just trying to get to a point.
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, so this is it. So Hezbollah, right? On November 24, 2023, they've killed 3 U.S. Service members. The Houthis have bombed innocent ships in the Red Sea port.
Sir, I've already condemned Iran.
hold on,
Why
hold
are
on,
you
hold on,
arguing
hold
this
on,
with
hold on,
me?
hold on.
No.
This is my point. This is my point. Do you think that if we don't bomb Israel, right? And this is my main point. I feel like we get to peace through making your enemies, by humbling your enemies. Like it sounds harsh, but that's ultimately how we get to peace. Because
let's put a huge pause up real quick. Okay, that is us bombing someone in the Middle East has never led to more peace. Not once. Not in a single country. Not Iraq. Not Afghanistan. Not you name the country. Us bombing them in the Middle East has never created more peace. You can't give me one singular example of that happening.
I say us, invading Afghanistan definitely made us more safe because we crippled Al Qaeda, right? We know that they were operating out of Afghanistan. They were getting smuggled into the Pakistan border. I don't like that country either.
Hold
for
on,
the most
are you
part.
saying creates more peace or makes America
No,
safer?
it creates the conditions
because you're changing. You're moving the goalpost.
It creates no, I'm answering you directly. I'm saying us invading Afghanistan 110% made us more safe. Like, because we crippled Al Qaeda, we lowered their manpower, and if I was president, I would have never left Afghanistan. I would have pushed for an offensive to stomp the Taliban out, right? Because I'm pretty sure if another foreign country, and it doesn't even have to be America, if they were to invade Afghanistan, the women would be cheering.
Sir,
homosexuals would be cheering.
Sir.
No
You're
way
saying stomp the
America's
Taliban out when Trump
particular.
literally released 5,000 Taliban prisoners, okay? We do not create stability in that region. We do not create peace in that region. Was it good for us to attack Al Qaeda? I'm not really going to say a negative on that. I have no love for a terrorist group. And, they attacked us and we retaliated over 20 years, which seems like we kind of lost, to be completely honest with you, after 20 years and not eradicating, like half the groups over there, okay? But again, that wasn't the target of it. We had the Iran nuclear deal. We had the ability to go in and inspect their uranium enrichment and see whether they were on the way to creating a nuclear weapon. They weren't, okay? Our own director of national intelligence said that they weren't. Okay, so how is us bombing these nuclear facilities when we're being told that they don't have those? We already had a deal in place to make sure they didn't have those. How is now bombing them helping anything when, again, they've already moved probably most of that stuff out of there because they had all of this time to do it? Dude, I think that people are somehow, and it's a ridiculous argument because this is pretty much like the whole thing where people are trying to turn it. It's like me saying like, hey, it was stupid to bomb fucking Iran's nuclear facilities that apparently didn't have nuclear weapons in it. That's stupid, but also I don't fucking like Iran and I think that they're pieces of shit. Okay? I think lots of places are giant pieces of shit and they're horrible countries. It doesn't mean I think that we should send bombs in and start a war. Okay? Like we don't like you understand what I'm saying here? Like,
well, we've already been at war with Iran. Just because we're not in open kinetic conflict with them doesn't mean, we're not at warfare.
Well, no, sir. Okay, let me make that very clear so you don't change it. Just because I don't think that someone is right does not mean I believe that we should be in open kinetic contact with them, putting American troops at risk.
Okay, so I'm going to say my part now. We've been at war with them for a while now. I could say, you don't have time. I could send you all my sources. The Iranian spies have been caught on spying on U.S. land. They've been stealing our technology. They've tried to influence our elections. They've attacked U.S. service members all across the Middle East. They're directly funding. It's not that I get what you're trying to say. You don't agree with how they run their country, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't attack them. But what I'm saying is that they've already attacked us through their proxies, and it would make nothing, like the Ayatollah, the leader of Iran, watching Americans die, that would literally bring a smile to his face. This is literally not an exaggeration.
We didn't attack their military. We didn't attack their military. We didn't attack their government. We didn't attack their proxies. If what you're saying is, okay, if you're
And I don't
saying,
agree with that.
if you're saying the reason why we should bomb Iran is because they're attacking us, then again, we did a horrible job because we didn't do anything to affect them from doing that again. Zero things. Okay? No things did we do to attack them that is making them less likely to use their proxies against us. If anything, they probably are now more emboldened to use their proxies against us. Right? Because they know they probably can't win a war with us like on a like you said, direct open kinetic contact, right? They probably can't. So they're now probably more likely to use their freaking proxies against us. Right? We didn't attack any of the things that we needed. Again, like I said, like I want to be so clear when I say this. Okay? I do not have any love lost for Iran. I do not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Okay? I don't want that at all. Okay? I don't like that Iran is funding, T groups and all sorts of stuff. I don't like any of that stuff. What I'm saying is the whole point of these attacks were because we were apparently stopping them from nuclear weapons. We have no proof to show that there was nuclear weapons. Our own direct... Oh, he left. Our own director said we didn't have them. There's been no Israeli intelligence to say that they had them. Who's saying we have them? Why are we freaking putting... again, we're talking about, wasting government spending. He left. I don't know where he left. We're talking about wasting government spending. We're dropping... How much is a 30,000 pound bomb? Just out of curiosity. Like, how much is a 30,000 pound bomb? I don't even know how much one costs. Let's see. I'm curious. Production per unit is $3.5 million a piece. Several $million for each one. Okay? If we're talking about government spending, if we're talking about, stopping, being isolationist, if we're talking about America first, then why are we not doing it? Why are we not doing it? That's my argument. Dude, no one likes Iran. No one likes Iran. Okay? I don't even care what you have to think about Israel. Like, I know this is us joining Israel. I don't even care what you think about Israel. Okay? Because personally, I think Bibi is a piece of shit, right? Personally. That doesn't mean I like Iran. Okay? Like, you can think both things. Anyways. Sorry, I don't know where he went. I thought we were actually getting into my first really big conversation on this today, and I was actually getting kind of excited. Ali, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Said Crypto Bro reminded me of this new Twitter phrase. Paulie, what are your thoughts on taxation is theft rhetoric coming from MAGA? That's been a long time libertarian thought. Like they've been saying that for a long time. The whole taxation is theft thing. Obviously, as a progressive, I think that is very stupid. But personally, okay. But I think our taxes are misused sometimes, and I think that they should be used a lot better. Yeah, exactly, Matt. Lots of sovereign citizens use that. Libertarian sovereign citizens, they do all that stuff, right? They also don't need driver's licenses because they're not drivers, they're travelers or whatever they do. One of my favorite things to do when I'm bored is I watch the videos of the police stopping sovereign citizens. Oh, it makes my day every single time. But yeah, that's my obviously our taxes are important to this to our economy very, very strongly. Queen, thank you so much for the subscription on TikTok. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Shay, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate that. So if the Democrats win the majority at the midterms, can we remove Trump from office? Now, of course, we would have to win the Senate and the House, right? So it'd have to be both. All right. It is possible, especially if he keeps bombing other countries. I think we have a pretty good chance of actually taking both. All right, but yes, we'd have to win both. And yeah, he could be impeachable. And I always had this fear, like, I think JD Vance is like just worse because he's actually smarter. No, I think that if you impeach Trump, then guess what? JD Vance actually has to be on his behavior because he knows he knows he would have to. So Shay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it is possible. Papa Eddie, I didn't say it was probable. I just said it was possible. Queen, that is an AI image that I just made a bunch of them and I didn't have anywhere to dump them, so I dumped them in the sub emote spot on my backup account, and I forgot that I put them there until you just put one there. I put them in there because I was like, I'm gonna dump a couple of these. I'm never on my backup account. I'm gonna dump a couple in these things. I forgot that they're there. I forgot that they were there. And now I'm not moving them. So you guys get to enjoy them. That'll be your fun for being subscribers on this account, is that you guys get to throw around my my AI images. Oh, too much of a laugh. I forgot they were there. Oh, dude, this is like my dump spot for like funny photos and all sorts of stuff. I put all sorts of stuff on there, man. I really do. Oh my goodness. I didn't even see this. Shelly, thank you so much. That Shelly is blank, but Shelly is boo boo. BB is boo boo. We save the world now. Thank you so much, Shelly. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. All right. Sorry, that was too much of a laugh. I was yeah. Do your worst. Do your worst. Do your worst, Queen. I appreciate you. Do your worst. All right, that's my laugh for the day, guys. I'm gonna get off again. I was only planning on doing 2 hours. I plan on being back on in 2 hours from now. I plan on being back online in 2 hours from now. Okay. Just about. I'm gonna do 2 hours before the Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Several hours, Bun White say. No, 2 hours. Around 5 o'clock, I'll be back on. And we'll do a couple more hours. I think we'll have a lot of fun with it today. Sundays are always my favorite day to stream. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, the follow button. We'll be back here in about 2 hours to redo it again. So I'll see you guys then, all right? Love you guys. See you then. Bye.